And now, from the authorities in sports nutrition, it's the EFX Sports Show. And here's your hosts, Dr. Jeff Golini and Brian Andrews.
Well, welcome to another episode of EFX Sports Show. My name is Dr. Jeff Golini, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Brian Andrews. Brian, how are we doing?
I am doing awesome. You know why? Because it's another great time for another great show. And, let me just go right into this. Our downloads are continuing to go up and up. And I don't know if people know, but we are actually on iTunes now. So
that is exciting.
If you subscribe there, go and grab the show. You can, obviously, of course, subscribe there. Please leave comments, suggestions, that type of thing. So that would really help us grow even faster. And, what's awesome is today we have a phenomenal show lined up. Of course, we're going to start with the great tip of the week. I think you're going to handle that one. You don't want to miss it. And then we're going to roll into our Q&A segment. This thing is just blowing up. We've got people asking us questions about creatine again. Somebody has some issue with their joints, and we're actually going to talk about your glory days a little bit here at Gold's Gym, Venice Beach, the Mecca.
Oh, that sounds like fun, man.
Yeah, and hey, and today we're also going to have in our interview portion, we're going to be joined by Mr. Dave Heller. This is the president and CEO of Main Street Baseball. He's also the managing partner of your Billings Mustangs. That's the Pioneer League short season affiliate of the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, that's going to be a lot of fun talking to that guy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. He's a great guy. He's been out here to All-American Pharmaceuticals several times, and of course working with the Billings Mustangs. It's been fun.
Sweet. Well, I think I'm ready to rock and roll. What about you?
Well, let's get it on, man. Another EFX Sports Show. We're not talking about sports scores or what happened in the news. We're bringing it to you live.
How to be a better athlete.
That's right.
All right, time for the tip of the week. Jeff, what have you got for us this week? What can you tell our listeners?
Man, we're going to talk. My tip this week is about calcium. That's something that I think a lot of people have heard and know. But, it's interesting. Most people, if you say, well, what is calcium? They'll say, I think it's like a rock or, something from coral. But calcium is actually a metal. And you wouldn't think that, but it is. It's one of the most abundant metals that's in nature. A little bit of scientific terminology here. So calcium is a chemical element with the symbol Ca and an atomic number of 20. It's a very soft gray alkaline earth metal. It's the fifth most abundant element by mass in the Earth's crust. So again, very abundant. Now, the interesting thing about calcium is it's the most common mineral found in our body, and it's required for the formulation of bones, bodily functions like muscle contractions, blood clotting, and calcium. Most of it is stored in the bones and teeth.
Wow. I got to be honest with you. I'd like to think I'm an expert on a lot of things, but I never knew it was a metal. That's kind of wild. I would have never in a million years thought about that.
All minerals are actually metals. Most people, unless you had, some chemistry or something, you just don't think about where these things come from, and what they're all about. Right.
And, hey, that's why you're the good doctor and I'm not. So, anyway, moving right along, you said a couple things in there. And, again, this is a show, obviously we're geared more towards athletes and
right.
elite, that type of thing. So you said something like muscle contraction, that type of thing. How does this type of element really, how does it support the athlete in them improving?
Well, I think you got to look at, one of the things is the deficiencies in order getting into how it works and what it's behind. So, talking about muscle contractions, the way you can determine that if you're deficient in calcium is if you get cramps. A lot of times we were told as an athlete, you need salt, go eat a banana. Well, you might, but calcium being the most abundant mineral, you're probably deficient in calcium. Just flat out muscle aches. Calcium is required for muscle contractions. So if you're looking to lift more and go longer, you need calcium. I mean, that's part of that whole contraction process. You ever wake up in the middle of the night and you got that twitching arm or something?
Yes.
Calcium deficiency. Insomnia, having trouble sleeping at night. Take some calcium before you go to bed. You'll sleep well. And then the one that, is probably the most important, there's a lot of other deficiencies dealing with bones and teeth, but for athletes, What about if you easily fatigue? Calcium deficiency. Again, people don't think about how important this is. We're always looking for the sexy, for the great thing that we need. Drink a caffeine drink. No, you just need some calcium.
Wow. Yeah, and like it's, we talked about multivitamins before. This is another one of those things that's just not real cool and edgy and dark, that kind of thing, like a pre-workout or something really fancy. But it's always those basics that, especially when you're an athlete, you tend to overlook, but that's what really hurts you.
Yeah, and you got to remember, these things are found in nature. So my first recommendation is, make sure that you're eating a good diet. So here's some sources that you can get these from. Most all leafy greens, any cheese, milk, dairy, tofu, high in calcium, broccoli, and then almonds and fish. So again, it's really abundant in nature. Unless you're just eating some wacky diet, you should be able to get enough calcium into your diet. If not, then that's where you'll need to look to a calcium supplement to supplement those levels.
That's what I was going to ask you now. Is there something in particular someone should be looking for if they decide they want to take a calcium supplement? Like, I think that should be bound to certain other ingredients, or it should be a tablet, a powder.
Yeah, and you can't eat the metal calcium. It would be poisonous. So in the manufacturing process, we've got to bind it to a salt in order for it to be absorbable. So, look for forms like calcium citrate, calcium carbonate, calcium chelate. There are a lot of different forms. In every form, each company claims it's better than the next, but really at the end of the day, it's about all the same. But my recommendation is don't go buy it from the dollar store or, the mass market stores. Go to your local health food store where these owners scrutinize the brands that they carry so they can give you a very reputable brand that you can trust. I always recommend calcium, first off, in a capsule, although because of the size, it normally is found in a tablet. So I'm not real too concerned about, the delivery system. It's more that you get it in. And, how much does one need? Well, kids and adolescents, need about 1,200 milligrams a day. Now, that doesn't mean you just go out and grab a 1,200 milligram supplement, because, again, they're going to be getting this from their foods. Adults, men and women under 50 and pre-menopausal women need about 800 milligrams a day. And then men and women over 50 need about 1,500 milligrams. There you have it, calcium.
Awesome. You heard it here first. Go get some calcium.
Yeah, drink some milk. Save a cow.
All right, well, now, you know what, Jeff? It's time for our big Q&A segment. This has got to be quickly becoming the most important, or I should say popular part of our show. This is great. I mean, the questions just keep coming in. So, I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to throw one at you and hear what you have to say. Now, here we go again about creatine. I don't know what it is about this, but it's make one of the biggest comebacks in the industry because I can't believe how many people are asking about it. I guess they just know it's one of our fortes. So, you ready?
All right, get it on, man. This must have been a question that came to you.
Yes, here we go. In the past, I have used creatine products, but then about 7 or 8 years ago, my body started not to like it for some reason. I was feeling very low energy, sort of like kryptonite for Superman.
Ooh.
Not sure if it's messing with my kidneys or liver. What do you think it could be? This is from big Christian Lombardo from Huntington, New York.
Yeah, and that's interesting because a lot of people, who have tried creatine, come up with these side effects that they're lethargic, they hold water, they don't feel good from it, or you hear, I'm a non-responder. There's no such thing as a non-responder. Creatine is one of those things that your body produces because you need it. No creatine, you die. I mean, it's essential for life. So the reason that Christian probably had those problems is, remember that regular creatine is not stable in solution. It converts to creatinine. Creatinine causes all those side effects. I did a study once where I took lab mice and I gave them creatinine, and they literally looked like they were drunk. They were so lethargic, they were falling over. That's a side effect of creatinine, not creatine. Creatine does all the good stuff that is required for, energy. Does it mess with your liver? No. I mean, your kidneys, your normal bodily functions, when you were spending and burning creatine is the bile waste, so our kidneys are designed to get rid of that. Matter of fact, that's how they test for kidney health, is they check the creatinine levels. Now, it's not good to be ingesting a whole lot of creatinine, but I think really what happened here is he probably tried some low-end form of creatine, and it just zapped his energy because he was drinking so much creatinine.
Well, and I was thinking about that, too. I don't know what brand in particular. He didn't mention that here in his question to me. But I just kind of can't help but think maybe he switched from something that was higher quality to something that was inferior. And As you and I both know, during the synthesis process, if you're not using what's called the cleaning portion, if you're not doing that properly, there are definitely some things in there that you do not want to be ingesting.
Or maybe he
he's part of that, too.
Or maybe he tried creatine HCl. Hey, man, it's only 60% creatine and full of creatinine. But, somebody posted something the other day, and I was just busting up. It was a young kid from Canada saying, I'm just going to stick with the cheap form of creatine. I don't really care if it works or not, but it's cheap. And I didn't even have a comment to that. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess stick with it. It doesn't work, but it's cheap. So what can you say, And
again, we were going to say it a million times, and I'm going to say it 1,000,001 times. In the supplement industry in particular, and honestly, like so many others, when it comes to these types of products, you absolutely get what you pay for. And it's also worth doing a little research, because this is your body we're talking about here. More people worry about how much they pay for gas in their car, getting premium, than they do these compounds they're ingesting. I mean, come on, again, especially if you're going to try and be an athlete,
no kidding.
You have to know what's going in your mouth.
Amen.
And find out, where is it manufactured? Where is it coming from? That part is so critical. Hey, labels look shiny and fancy. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes than you realize. And this, to me, again, I don't know the full story of our buddy Christian here, but my goodness, I mean, for him to feel this way on something that he obviously was getting results from, and just now he's confused, wondering what the heck is going on.
Well, he got some Crealkaline to try, so he'll see what the good stuff is about.
Now you switch him to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we're coming up against a break here. When we get back, I got another question to throw at you, and this time it's going to be about joint and muscle pain. That's right up your alley.
Nice. EFX! Hello, this is Dr. Jeff Golini with EFX Sports. By now, you've been in the gym and on your New Year's resolution diet for about a month, and if you're like most, it hasn't been easy. Well, here's something that could help you. Go to the store and grab a few supplements from EFX Sports. This will help keep you on the right track, and there's many products to choose from. My favorites are Crealkaline, the best creatine supplement on the market, Carbolin, to help power you through your workouts without sugar and loads of caffeine, and NF Pro Whey Protein to help muscles recover after a workout. That's a powerful trifecta, and the best part is it's made here in Billings and they're affordable. You can find all these products at Bonanza Health Foods, Lucky's, GNC, Granite, or Yellowstone Fitness. But if your favorite store doesn't carry EFX yet, I would love it if you would ask them to. For real, drug-free muscle, it's EFX Sports.
If you want to power your workouts and stay in shape like the pros do, then choose EFX Sports Supplements. Manufactured in Billings at All American Pharmaceutical, EFX Sports will keep you in tip-top shape with products such as NF Pro Whey Protein, Carbolin, Crealkaline, Freak Maker, and many more. Head into Bonanza Health Foods, Lucky's Market, Granite Fitness, or Yellowstone Fitness and try them all today. If your favorite store or gym doesn't carry EFX yet, tell them to check into it. Go to AAEFX.com to find out more.
Well, welcome back to EFX Sports Show. Dr. Jeff Golini and Brian Andrews. And Brian has become the accumulator of your Q&As. Now, some of them you send directly to me, but for some reason he has been getting these. So he is firing these questions at me. So anyhow, you got another good one here, huh, Brian?
Yeah, and my favorite part of the question I'm about to read is the name the guy left, but I'll get to that in just a second.
Okay.
Here's what he has to say. Hello, Dr. Jeff Golini. I've had joint and muscle problems over the past few years and had been taking your creselazine, which I love, and that's something you're going to obviously have to explain to our listeners. However, due to cancer and treatment for cancer, I had stopped taking it for a span of about a year. I've been back on it now, for about a year, but unfortunately the treatment for cancer has really done a number on my joint muscles and tissues, even worse than it was before, of course. I take 6 to 9 of your creselazine a day. I was also given a prescription of 800 milligrams of ibuprofen to take 3 times a day to help with inflammation and pain until more testing is done to see how much arthritis and other ailments I have. I was put on medication and listed that I was taking creselazine. No one at the office had heard of it and just ignored it. I was warned by my doctor not to take any other NSAIDs with it. Let's see, would that include your creselazine? Your input is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for your time. And the name listed here is Hothead.
I love that, man.
Yeah, me too.
But, when you go to the doctor sometimes, you get a hothead, man, because they're so confusing. And, God bless this guy. I mean, with cancer, it's a terrible thing. And, all of the chemotherapies and stuff that they give you has side effects. And one of them, people get arthritis, they develop inflammation. So, here the doctor goes, getting him on ibuprofen and stuff. So first of all, no, creselazine is not an NSAID, NSAIDs. It doesn't fall into that realm. As a matter of fact, when we did my first clinical trials, we went against ibuprofen, acetaminophen, and most of the over-counter type products, and we outperformed them, for pain and for inflammation. So I'm glad that, the doctors didn't say don't take it and that you're still taking this hothead, because obviously that it does work. Anytime something is clinically proven. Now, the cool thing about creselazine, is it was designed for joint pain, I can't speak here, and mobility. And it's currently at FDA with an orphan drug for the treatment of juvenile rheumatoid arthritis in adolescents. FDA has something called orphan drugs for companies like AAP that aren't pharmaceutical drug manufacturers, and they give us an opportunity to get into that realm. But it's kind of interesting because a drug, I believe, has to have like a minimum of 100 side effects. But for us, we got to be completely side effect free. Now, what's up with that,
I know. It's like, and it's funny because people are, and rightly so to some degree, they're leery of supplements as a whole, but then you start looking on the other side of the fence and you kind of scratch your head going, look at the hoops we're jumping through just to make sure we have a clean protein product.
Well,
what on earth is up with all those side effects?
It's crazy. And, we have to pick, when you go after a drug, an orphan drug, the outcome is at the end of the day, doctors will be able to prescribe it. It'll be able to go through pharmacies, insurance. So that's kind of the reason of going that route. So we had to jump through all the same hoops, as you say. And now we're to the point where we're at the new drug identification process, and they want us to go out and do another study. And this is the interesting thing, is they want us to be able to find kids who are on medication for juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, which is very dangerous, and get them to go off their medication and take a placebo. So it's kind of like, that's stupid. Why don't we just prove that it works like we did in our first study and not have to get kids off their medication? But the more interesting thing is they came back and said, now, if you have one side effect, it's not going to be approved. And I said, well, what about a drug? Oh, well, that's different. If you want to be a drug, you can have many side effects. So anyhow, creselazine will be still over-the-counter under creselazine, but it'll also be marketed with a different name that doctors can use, but it'll be the exact same thing.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, and I know it also, the key to it is it's fighting inflammation, which is where a lot of that pain that people are feeling comes from. It's all the swelling, and that it causes such immense pressure. And it's your body's obviously natural response to injury and that sort of thing. And when people get like arthritis, that's the body almost going out of control in certain aspects, attacking its own joints as if they were injured.
Yeah, and then you get chronic inflammation, which, if you've had an injury, stress, things like cancer treatments where, your body thinks there's an actual injury happening. So here comes all the macrophages, the cell battling, the redness, the inflammation. And that's what causes, arthritis and joint pain and muscles, all the swelling and stuff. Creselazine, again, showed that it got in and actually broke up and got rid of that inflammation. So it didn't mask it. Now, we can't say that it healed it, so I'll just leave it at that. but awesome for, wrists, knees, elbows, fingers, all the small joints and things. Sometimes people confuse like back pain, chiropractic pain, nerve damage with inflammation from this type, but that's a whole different animal that doesn't kind of fit into this category. But anyhow, I'm glad that you're staying on it there, Mr. or Mrs. Hothead. Keep it up.
I was going to say, hey, our heart goes out to you, especially battling cancer and just even going through the treatment process.
No kidding.
Sometimes can almost be as bad as the disease itself. So
absolutely.
God bless you, and hey, keep on your creselazine.
Yep.
Here's the next question for you. Now, this one might take a little time to answer, so you this is all directed at you 100%. But here you go. I heard you on another show talking about the glory days of Gold's Gym. And just again, so people know, we're talking about the Gold's Gym that they call the Mecca in Venice Beach, California, not too far from me, actually.
Gold's Gym.
I would love to train 6 days a week because I love to train. But with a busy job and young children, it's just not realistic. What training split would you recommend for a drug-free male, age 40, where my goal is size and strength? I also hear you are known as Supplement Santa. I'd be very, very interested if you have any extra supplements lying around. This is from Matt B.
Oh, two-part question. Well, first of all,
two-part.
Man, I was at Gold's Gym in the 80s, which that's where all the bodybuilders went, the Mecca, Tom Platz, the Barbarian Brothers, Mike Christian, Samir Bannout, Janice Reagan, the names go on and on, Tanya Knight, Lyle Alzado. I mean, everyone went down there, so it was cool. But I think
and I know there was another guy that made an appearance every now and then. I think his name was Arnold something.
Yeah. He only came over once in a while because Arnold, he didn't get along with Pete Kromkowski, who was the owner of Gold's. I'll take up a whole time starting to tell stories, so I better not get into that right now. But anyhow, back to your question here. I think you got to look at, how much time do you have available for training? So, on a heavy schedule, a lot of times people say, well, what is the minimum? So I would say, a nice 4-day-a-week split is what I do right now because I'm busy, I have work, have a family. And what I do is I just do one part a week. So the first day I'm doing chest. The second workout I do legs and calves. The third workout I do back. And then Saturday, which is my longer workout, I'll do shoulders and arms. So that's one way that you can break that up. There's a whole lot of different ways of training. And then as far as, exercises and things, I always recommend about 3 exercises per body part. Now, if you're only going to do one part a day like I do about 4 or 5 exercises, and I do 5 sets, and I always try to keep between 10 to 15 reps. And I throw abs in there a couple times a week, and then whenever you can fit cardio in, but that'll put some good size and strength on you. That's what a lot of powerlifters do. They don't train as much as the bodybuilders. You'll never see a powerlifter training 6 days a week. They normally train, 3 to 4 days a week.
That's exactly right. I used to train with about 40 guys who were diehard powerlifters, and you nailed it. They were never there more than 3 or 4 days a week because their focus was almost purely on building the strength side. They didn't really care about 19-inch arms or having nice quad sweeps or anything like that. They just wanted to move more and more weight on that bar. And
they didn't
recover. Care how they did it.
And then Supplement Santa, I think Carl Lenore gave me that because I like to give away samples to people. EFX Sports, as you know, Brian, don't take our word for it. You'd never go buy a car without taking it for a test drive. So why should you buy a supplement that you can't try it first? And then if it works for you, then it's worth investing. So I love giving away samples. So you can reach me on Facebook, Dr. Jeff Golini. You can go to any of the EFX Sports, All-American Pharmaceuticals, superhumanradio.com and find Ask the Scientist. And all you got to do is say, hey, I'd like to try or test drive some product, and you will get a surprise in the mail.
Okay, so who gave you the name Supplement Santa? That's awesome.
Carl Lenore from Superhuman Radio.
Because I see more and more people posting on your page, and they actually call you Supplement
They
Santa.
are, I had to think about that for a minute, and I thought, well, yeah, I guess so, because it kind of started last Christmas. So that's kind of where it started.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, like I said, you can reach him through Facebook. There's lots of different places. You can also ask your questions there that are going to end up on our show, just like these folks have. And just real quickly, I'm kind of in the same boat as this guy, being around that age, having a family just like you, so much going on in life, and I think the biggest mistake people will make when it comes to training in general is they always think it's more, and
right.
they have this misconception of how much it takes. I mean, my goodness, I can walk over and flip my light switch on one time, and it's on. I don't have to sit there and flip it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times.
Yep.
So the key to the whole thing, too, is recovery. And that's the part that also people miss. And that's why we talk so much about supplementation and massage and all these little tips and tricks you can do to speed that part of it up. So just because you can't go like 6 days a week because it sounds like that's what it's going to take to reach this level, especially when you're getting older. I mean, you just don't have the recovery aspects, having youth on your side.
Yeah, exactly.
To bounce back from injuries that you feel so much more now than you did 20 years ago. Honestly, just do something. I don't care if it's 2 days a week. Just do something, and you're gonna see progress, and you're gonna feel better. And that's really what it takes.
Yeah.
Just get up and move, and don't let that be an excuse that I've got a family and all these obligations. Trust me, you will find time to do what you really want to do.
Yep. And then you mentioned to me that you want people to also give us their contact, their address when they submit a question, because you're going to start giving them a little something if we read their question on the show.
Well, I guess I get to be Supplement Santa's sidekick.
That's right. You get to be the elf, man.
Yeah, you might get a little surprise showing up at your doorstep.
That's right.
What's going to be is just a little gift. Hey, if we use your question, we want to say thank you in a much better way than just saying thank you. Let's just put it that way.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, hey, on that note, we got to go to break, and when we get back, I believe we got quite an interview lined up for us. You ready?
I am ready. We'll catch y'all in a bit.
EFX!
Hello, this is Dr. Jeff Golini with EFX Sports. By now, you've been in the gym and on your New Year's resolution diet for about a month, and if you're like most, it hasn't been easy. Well, here's something that could help you. Go to the store and grab a few supplements from EFX Sports. This will help keep you on the right track, and there's many products to choose from. My favorites are Crealkaline, the best creatine supplement on the market, Carbolin, to help power you through your workouts without sugar and loads of caffeine, and NF Pro Whey Protein to help muscles recover after a workout. That's a powerful trifecta, and the best part is it's made here in Billings and they're affordable. You can find all these products at Bonanza Health Foods, Lucky's, GNC, Granite, or Yellowstone Fitness. But if your favorite store doesn't carry EFX yet, I would love it if you would ask them to. For real, drug-free muscle, it's EFX Sports.
EFX!
If you want to power your workouts and stay in shape like the pros do, then choose EFX Sports Supplements. Manufactured in Billings at All American Pharmaceutical, EFX Sports will keep you in tip-top shape with products such as NF Pro Whey Protein, Carbolin, Crealkaline, Freak Maker, and many more. Head into Bonanza Health Foods, Lucky's Market, Granite Fitness, or Yellowstone Fitness and try them all today. If your favorite store or gym doesn't carry EFX yet, tell them to check into it. Go to AAEFX.com to find out more.
Well, welcome back to EFX Sports Show. My name is Dr. Jeff Golini with my co-host, Mr. Brian Andrews. And I've got, as we said, we've got a very, very, very special guest, a good friend of mine, Mr. Dave Heller here. Dave, how you doing?
I am doing great. I am doing wonderfully. Nice to be with you guys.
We are so excited. Boy, we were kind of looking at your bio, and it just kind of goes on and on and on. One of the things that I think our listeners are always excited about is to find out a little bit about who our guest is. So instead of me trying to read through this, I know you're not the kind of person that likes to toot your own horn, but here comes the trick question is, who is Dave Heller? I mean, what are you about?
I am a big baseball fan, and have the honor and the privilege of being able to put together a group of friends, and we purchased the Billings Mustangs last year, and we are all about trying to provide the most fun, family-friendly, and affordable entertainment in Billings that the community has ever seen.
Now, you also have, is it 2 other teams, too, that you're involved with or part owners?
I do. I have a team in Quad Cities where I live in Davenport, Iowa, called the Quad Cities River Bandits, and that team plays in a ballpark that was built in 1931 and was voted by USA Today as the single best ballpark in all of minor league baseball. So we're very, very proud of what we've accomplished in Quad Cities and bringing that old ballpark back to life. And I also have a team in Wilmington, Delaware, and that team is we're a high A affiliate of the Kansas City Royals, and that ballpark was voted the best ballpark in advanced A baseball. So
wow,
we've been winning awards and winning a bunch of ball games. Our Quad Cities club had the single best won-loss record of any team in any level of all major or minor league baseball last year. And mostly, though, we're about entertaining people. We're about making sure that our fans and our guests have a fantastic time every time they come in to one of our ballparks.
And I can personally tell you, because I had been to the Billings Mustang games prior to you being involved, and quite honestly, they were boring. I didn't go. And nothing. I'm sorry, whoever the previous owner is, if you're listening.
It's a little bit different vibe right now that we have going on there.
Yeah, it was really exciting. I mean, there was a lot of entertainment. There was fans getting involved. People stayed to the end of the game, no matter if you were up or down.
Yes.
And I know you got a lot of good things planned. Now, which is the field you were telling me? Isn't one of them have a Ferris wheel?
It does. Our ballpark in Quad Cities has a 110-foot tall Ferris wheel, which is the only ballpark in major or minor league baseball with a Ferris wheel in it. Detroit has a little kiddie Ferris wheel in their play area, but other than that, we're certainly the only one with a full-size Ferris wheel.
That's crazy. And Brian, you were out here this summer. Isn't it cool to go to a baseball game and actually be entertained? Because baseball is kind of boring. I mean, I've never played it, but it's not as fast-paced. But wasn't it pretty entertaining?
Yeah, that's a great park, and it's funny because a lot of people would say Billings is really a smaller town overall, and then you got this really upscale, modern park that you go in there and go, whoa, man, check this out. Yeah, it's laid out it's easy to get around the whole thing. I like how you can literally walk the whole park, and that's something you don't get at a lot of other
places. And part of our challenge, what we're working on now, is how do you take that 360-degree experience of being able to walk around the whole park and turn it into a series of neighborhoods where people can kind of go and enjoy something different and something unique in each different part of the ballpark, and that's what we're working on now. One of the things, for example, that we want to do, and we've been working with the city, trying to get the city's permission to let us do it, is we would like to put in a 300-foot long zip line into the ballpark.
Wow.
One thing about Montanans that I've learned very quickly is come summertime, well, actually all year round, they love to be outdoors. They are not, they're not people who prefer to just stay inside. They like to be out and doing interesting things, hunting and rafting and running and cycling and camping and so on. And I think having a zip line there would not only give kids some great entertainment, I think it would give more of a Montana feel to the ballpark, and I love the ballpark, but I want to give it a little bit more of a Montana feel to it. It feels right now like it could be. It's a beautiful park, but it could be a beautiful park anywhere.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And I want it to be unique to Montana.
The only other thing you could do would be to put in a fishing pond or a shooting range, but I don't think you want to put that in a baseball field. Oh, man. Dave, I never got to ask you this question, but did you ever play baseball, or how did you get involved with baseball?
Oh, yeah, I played baseball. I guess, to be more precise, I probably sat baseball. I was never really very good at it. I was always sort of the second from the end in the dugout.
Uh-huh.
But I loved it from the very beginning. I loved it when I was a little kid playing Little League, and always loved it. And I got involved because my attorney is also the vice president of minor league baseball, and every time we'd see each other, we'd always be talking baseball. And he said to me, you ought to like look into buying a minor league team. You enjoy it. You talk about it with such passion and fervor all the time. And so I went to the baseball winter meetings, and I was in Boston that year, and I thought, oh, well, you know what, maybe it'd be fun to buy 2%, 5% of a club and own it. And I ended up walking away with 100% of a club, which was really
wow.
one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever done in my life.
Well, I know your passion anytime we've talked, and of course your staff's passion just for baseball. It's kind of nice to see, obviously we all got to make a living, and that's why we have businesses, but it's cool to see people with passion, for the game, but really for the fans. I mean, and that's, I think,
it's more for the fans than it is for the game, honestly. I love the game, but you're right. You're exactly right, Jeff. It's really all about the fans. And how can we entertain the fans? How can we give our fans, especially our youngest fans, an experience that will become a memory, that is indelible in their mind? And that's why we do things like the Mega Candy Drop, for example, where we fill a helicopter up with candy, and then after the game, one Sunday afternoon, we drop it all over the field and let the kids run out and get the candy. In other states, we actually, when the kids are grabbing the candy, we refill the helicopter with marshmallows, and then we drop marshmallows all over the field and let the kids look up and go, oh my God, it's raining marshmallows. But apparently Montana, it's such a limited government state, but it's the only state I've ever seen where you're not allowed to drop marshmallows.
Really?
On top of people. Yeah, they wouldn't let us do it.
Interesting. Well,
Very interesting. You obviously think out of the box, that's for sure, based on what you're saying about Ferris wheels and zip lines. In fact, I read a statistic, I think, was it your Quad City, when they did that big renovation? I think, didn't your attendance go up by something like 50 or 56%, something big, huge number?
No. Our attendance, you got the number right. We went up 56%, but it wasn't when they did the renovation. The renovation happened 5 years earlier. It was the year I bought the club.
Oh,
okay. The
renovation happened under my predecessor, and every year for 5 years since the renovation, the attendance had dropped. And I took it over, and we started putting in these fun promotions and giveaways and things like that. And yes, our attendance jumped 56% in that very first year. And of all the things that we've done in Quad Cities, and we not only have a Ferris wheel there, but we have spinning bumper cars, and we have a drop and twist, and a ride called Space Camp where kids go upside down, like in NASA.
Wow.
Despite all that stuff, the thing I'm most pleased with is that attendance on a per game basis has gone up every single year for 8 years.
That's pretty amazing.
And in an election year, when people vote with their feet, so to speak, and by showing up, that's what means more to me than anything.
Absolutely, that's fantastic.
Well, I know the attendance here in Billings was really good last season. It was consistently, I think, over 3,500 or around there, which was pretty much a packed crowd. And I know as EFX Sports, being the sponsor, we really enjoyed the whole baseball season, and we're kind of looking forward to this season. And one funny story was the first game that we did, Chris, which is, I think he's your business development or sales manager.
Yeah, Chris Marshall.
Yep, he came up to me and said, hey, do you want to go out and throw out the opening pitch? Well, of course, anytime someone asks me to do something, I just say yes without thinking. And then I thought, oh, no, man, I don't know if I could throw that far. I never played baseball. So I got to tell you, Dave, I go out there and I'm nervous. I'm praying, and I wound up and I threw it, and it didn't quite go as far. But your catcher was so gracious. I mean, he came out and scooped it and made me look good. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, throwing out a first pitch. I've never done that myself, but everybody has told me it's much more of a challenge than it looks like. It's only you're 60 feet 6 inches from home plate. You think, well, throwing a ball 60 feet can't be that hard, but it is.
Well,
yeah, it's a challenge.
It didn't help on the way out. All my friends were going, now, don't throw it up in the stands or don't, go wild with it. So, of course, I'm thinking, all right, well, let me just, maybe I'll throw it underhand or something. But
Well, and that's the thing. People forget when you're a pitcher is it's one thing to throw it to 60 feet. It's another thing to do it accurately.
Yeah.
That's such an amazing skill and talent these guys have.
Yeah, well, exactly, and especially for us non-baseball players. So,
Yeah, to be able, imagine them throwing it at 95 or 100 miles an hour, and being able to do it where they're just throwing it right over the very edge, the very corner of home plate. That's an unbelievable feat.
And
probably only more difficult
time.
than actually hitting the ball when it's being thrown that fast.
Yeah.
That's right.
That part of the plate.
Well, hey, guys, we got to go to break right now. When we get back, I wanted to pick up and wanted to have you talk a little bit about this year's season, your team you put together, and what the prospects look like for your team. So when we get back from break, that's what
We're fired up about it, yeah.
If you want to power your workouts and stay in shape like the pros do, then choose EFX Sports Supplements. Manufactured in Billings at All American Pharmaceutical, EFX Sports will keep you in tip-top shape with products such as NF Pro Whey Protein, Carbolin, Crealkaline, Freak Maker, and many more. Head into Bonanza Health Foods, Lucky's Market, Granite Fitness, or Yellowstone Fitness and try them all today. If your favorite store or gym doesn't carry EFX yet, tell them to check into it. Go to AAEFX.com to find out more.
hello, this is Dr. Jeff Golini with EFX Sports. By now, you've been in the gym and on your New Year's resolution diet for about a month, and if you're like most, it hasn't been easy. Well, here's something that could help you. Go to the store and grab a few supplements from EFX Sports. This will help keep you on the right track, and there's many products to choose from. My favorites are Crealkaline, the best creatine supplement on the market, Carbolin, to help power you through your workouts without sugar and loads of caffeine, and NF Pro Whey Protein to help muscles recover after a workout. That's a powerful trifecta, and the best part is it's made here in Billings and they're affordable. You can find all these products at Bonanza Health Foods, Lucky's, GNC, Granite, or Yellowstone Fitness. But if your favorite store doesn't carry EFX yet, I would love it if you would ask them to. For real, drug-free muscle, it's EFX Sports. Well, welcome back to the EFX Sports Show. We're here with Mr. Dave Heller. And Dave, so what does the 2016 season look like for your teams this year?
We are so excited about the 2016 season here in Billings with the with the players the Cincinnati Reds send us. We think that the Reds have just done such a great job of feeding us future major leaguers, and it's terrific. Some of the kids, that we had Tyler Stevenson last year, who was their first round draft choice as a catcher. We consistently get their best players, their top draft choices, and they all start in Billings.
Wow!
And it's just really neat that you can see the major leaguers of tomorrow right here in Billings today.
And I think a lot of people sometimes don't realize that this is professional baseball. They think it's our Billings team, but I didn't realize that, the top draft choice, the catcher, these guys are pros, and they're going to be the stars of tomorrow, and they're right here in Billings getting their start, their debut.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. That's Robert Stevenson. He is just fantastic, and there doesn't seem to be any question in the Reds organization that he is going to be a major league star one day. That's really neat that you can meet him, you can get his autograph, get a picture taken with him. Like we love that.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
That they have the baseball draft every year in May, and that's when we find out really who the next round of stars that we're getting are. But one of the, it's sort of, you're not really supposed to talk about it, but I will. The worse the major league team does at the major league level, the lower their draft position is. And the Reds were, quite frankly, they did not perform very well at the major league level last year. And so we're going to have one of the, I said low, really low, like a low number. We're going to have one of the, the very top draft picks, one of the top 2 or 3 kids in the entire draft. And that guy was going to come to Billings. And when you're drafting an overall number 1 pick, those are almost certain stars. We had an overall number 1 pick in Quad Cities a few years ago. His name was Joe Mauer, and he ended up winning, MVP awards and batting titles and so on for the Minnesota Twins. And most recently, in 2013, was the last time we had an overall number 1 pick in Quad Cities, and that kid was Carlos Correa, who was voted the Rookie of the Year in the American League this past year and led the Astros to within 4 or 5 outs of going to the World Series.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and so for people in Billings to meet them, to get their picture taken with them, to get their autograph, that's pretty awesome.
That is. Dave, how long do these guys stay on the Mustangs team?
It really depends on the Reds and what their needs are and who's healthy and who gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a ladder, and Billings is the first step on the ladder. And so if somebody who is a catcher a level or 2 above gets hurt, even 3 levels above, right? If the catcher 3 levels above gets hurt, then everybody else moves up a level.
Gotcha.
Or if the catcher just happens to be hitting 350, hitting 400, they're just going to move him up and let him play at a higher level. The one Major League Farm director said to me, "You should never have the batting champion on your team." and the implication being, if he's doing that well, he ought to be moved up sooner.
Wow. So you've always got a new team, sounds like.
Yeah, so we do every year. Billings has a brand new team. It's extremely rare for somebody to play with the Mustangs for 2 years in a row. It would be very, very rare, and usually because of injury.
Wow.
Otherwise, if you're not at this level, if you're not moving up, you're moving out.
Brian, could you imagine being the coach and having a brand new team every year?
Yeah. Wow, I couldn't even fathom that. And you're right. You're starting to get into the elite of the elite, because we've done other shows where we've talked about when you start getting into the upper echelon, just how competitive it is. Literally, the difference between you and the next guy could be 1 at-bat that makes that difference, or 1 run scored.
Oh, sure. And it's not, look, you asked about how you would like to be the manager. The managers and the coaches also move up. Dick Schofield, who was our manager last year, is now going to be managing the single A team in Dayton this year.
Oh, wow.
So he's moved up, and we have a new manager.
Wow, man.
And because managers and coaches, like everybody else, they want to move up.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing we are confident in for your team is they're going to be, at least when it comes to being healthy and strong, is we've achieved the NSF certification for some of our product line that these guys can now all use to throw faster and hit harder, or run faster, all that kind of stuff. So that's a great achievement to see EFX Sports products now being displayed on that field. Literally on the field, in the players.
Absolutely. And for people listening, very, very, very few people know just what an amazing accomplishment it is to be NSF certified for sport. That is the gold standard in nutritional drinks and any kind of energy drink, and it's very, very, very hard to get. And for Dr. Jeff, for you and the people at All American Pharmaceuticals who have achieved that with repeated products, all of which you can get at Mustangs games now, that's an awesome accomplishment. That to us is the World Series of protein and energy drinks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it as you said, it is very difficult and it's expensive. It's a long process, but, Major League Baseball is very strict when it comes to, drugs, steroids and things. So they want to make sure that their ball players are only using things that can be guaranteed drug-free, and that's what the whole NSF sport is about. We have to send batches. They've got to come here. I mean, it's a long process just to get there, and then you've got to maintain that. So it isn't just you do it one time. They're in here 2-3 times a year, checking all of our records and stuff. But again, it keeps companies accountable, and it keeps us at the top of our game. I know we were out at one of the training camps, and our guys got to actually meet some people that were up in the Cincinnati Reds, and they were really excited about, crealkaline and carbolin. So we're excited. Last year was kind of getting our feet wet, and now that we will be able to get more involved with the players and things, we're definitely excited from that standpoint.
Well, yeah, and the really nice thing is that NSF certification is the great way to separate the stuff that really works without hurting your body in some other side effect way from the other pretenders.
Absolutely.
And that's what baseball's been so, focused on, is making sure that nobody's getting an unfair advantage, but everybody who is using natural things can take advantage of that. And that's the line that you guys walk every day, and you do it so successfully because you are certified for sport by NSF.
Yeah, and I think, Brian, wouldn't you say that Major League Baseball is probably the strictest of any of the professional sports right now?
From all the regulations and everything I've had to look at when we were going through that process, absolutely. I mean, that's hands down
no
went to the
question.
top. And just
question.
to put in perspective what you said about NSF in general, I've seen some of the reporting that their agents they bring in to go through the plant and look at everything. I think their standards are actually stricter than the government agencies that actually regulate our industry.
Oh,
it's amazing what they were putting on their reports compared to what, say, FDA would do. It's mind-boggling.
Well, and they told us that, they don't care about FDA. Well, they do, but to the sense that these are our standards, and, we're accountable to professional athletes. So, again, that's great that the FDA only requires this, but a lot of times we saw the NSF went above and beyond. But, again, it's great because, it's a challenge for us, and it puts us, into an elite percent, companies that haven't been able to achieve it or, don't want to achieve it. And, again, you don't deal with Major League Baseball without that. So, pretty exciting. So, anyhow, I know, Dave,
let me just say one thing about that. For people who may not have seen this, the New York Mets had a relief pitcher on their staff, and he just got banned for life.
Oh, wow.
Banned for life because he was using a product that did not meet baseball standards.
Yeah.
And so you're right, Brian. There is no professional sports organization that is as tough on abusers as baseball. Their standards are so high. And that's why I say, for people who are interested in getting better and getting stronger and getting faster and doing it without hurting their own bodies, doing it in a way that's compliant with the highest standards that exist, which is what Major League Baseball and Minor League Baseball have, your products, NSF certified, that you can get at All American Pharmaceuticals, I mean, that's where you go.
Well, thank you, man. We appreciate that and look forward to our 2016 season with you, Dave.
Well, thanks. I will tell you guys, in addition to the zip line, I have been ride shopping recently, and we're looking to see if we can't bring in another ride into Billings. Hopefully for this year, certainly. If not for this year, for next season.
Nice.
So there's going to be some neat things coming.
Well, hey, Dave, on that note, we really do appreciate you taking a few minutes to speak with us and share your side and just give people a different perspective on just baseball in general. And then, man, if you're ever in Billings, you got to go to this park, especially now they're going to get all these crazy zip lines and rides, and maybe they'll finally get the marshmallow thing going and drop it on the crowd. But, hey, again, we just really appreciate your time, and thank you so much.
My pleasure. Great to talk with you, both of you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, you too. And on that note, we're going to wrap this show up, and we will see you guys on the next episode.
Have a good one. We'll catch you later.
Underground in the EFX studio, you've been listening to the EFX Sports Show. Find all the EFX Sports supplements and products by logging on to aaefx.com.